pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime and so much more when you join today. You heard that right. Conquer the stair climber with your partner in climb. Enjoy a post-workout recovery session in the hydro massage and do it all again with access to any of our 2,700 convenient locations. So, you coming? Get all the perks with the PF Black Card for $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry! You won't want to miss this exclusive offer. Deal ends June 13th.
See Club for details.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Staying healthy and comfortable starts with the air you breathe. If you're noticing more dust, odors, or allergies, it could be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Pure Air starts with cleaner air ducts. Pair with enhanced filtration and purifications options, and the difference is amazing. When the air you breathe is clean and fresh, your home smells fresher, and your family is healthier. Time for cleaner air in your home? Call Bryant for a free estimate. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Be at the 32nd Annual Testicle Festival for live music, hot nuts, and meet Buster the Bull. It's at Round the Bend Steakhouse in Ashland, June 14th from 11 to 10. Take I-80 exit 426, roundthebendsteakhouse.com.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, first and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
All right, we're live at Schwisow Construction, 3700 South 6th Street to celebrate their open house as they unveil their newly expanded and renovated office headquarters. All right, ladies and gentlemen, they started things off today with a ribbon cutting around 10 a.m., and now you are invited to come down and enjoy food, drink, and see the expansion at Schwisow Construction as they celebrate 40 years, 4 decades of business. All right, the Schwisow Construction, again, is at 3700 South 6th Street here today in Lincoln. Open house goes until 1 p.m. All right, Jake. So we've been on location before, but that was for everybody, and that was for March Madness. Okay, and for some reason, I started to keep score in football lingo, if you remember that.
That's right.
Teams were up by 2 touchdowns, down by a field goal. Then I would go 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points, whatever, having a good time. But this is the first time the Adam Carriker Show has ever specifically been on location. We're excited again to be here at Schwisow Construction as they unveil their newly expanded and renovated office headquarters. 4 decades, 40 years they've been in business. Are you excited? Have you missed me? I've been gone for like 5 days. What have you done with your life without me, Jay?
Absolutely. I mean, I've just been at home twiddling my thumbs, counting down the days to today, and we are here at Schwisow Construction, and it's beautiful. They've got all these great balloons behind us, so very exciting stuff. But no, seriously, there's room here. We've got our water. Food looks great, so it looks like a fantastic place to come out if you got the afternoon open and want to come check it out. Like you said, we're down here, and we're gonna have some fun for the next couple hours.
Absolutely, drop in. Come say hi. Come check out Schwisow Construction's open house, newly expanded headquarters. How long have you been doing this? Like the radio game, helping host shows, being a producer?
Yeah, since about 2013.
So 12 years.
Yeah.
So 28 more years to go to catch up to Schwisow. That's pretty impressive.
That's right. Yeah. It'll be a while, but I'll stick to it.
I've been going on year 11, so you've actually been doing it 1 more year than I have. All right, we're relatively the same. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Adam Carriker Show. It's a Wednesday. So we had the talk to me first of all. Let's go back to the beginning of the week. My first show of the week. It's a Wednesday. I'm not usually in on Wednesdays, but I'm excited to be here for this specialty show. But let's go back to the first day of the week, the Amon Green Foundation golfing event. What was that like? Did you partake in the golfing? How did that go for you, Jay?
Well, I was back in studio, but I know a lot of our personalities were out there, and just looking at it, looked very, very successful. I mean, I know Amon Green had some fun. We had a lot of different guests. I tried to rattle through them like Jordan Larson, but there's just a lot of different guests, a lot of exciting radio programming for us out there. And I think it overall was a success. And I know some of our people out there were able to have some fun. I don't know how well they did. I have to ask Sorensen specifically. I'm not great at golf, so I wasn't out there.
You got second?
No,
Jake says he got second.
See, so that sounds like a successful time.
Out of curiosity, who got first, Jake? Okay. He says nobody that we would know. Apparently, if you lose to them, they're not that important. That's what I took away from that. Here's what I'll tell you. I am, I would say below average, but that would be being kind. I'm a very bad golfer. I have actually been – so I go to the driving range once every half decade. I go to mini golf once every other year, and my kids drag me. I've been like actual golfing, I think 3 times in my entire life. And it's probably been 7 or 8 years, okay, since I've actually been golfing. I have broken more heads off of golf clubs than times I've made par on a hole. Like, that's how bad I am. I grew up playing a ton of baseball, as you know.
Yeah.
So I swing like a baseball player. That doesn't work so well. I have no accuracy, no consistency. The one thing I do have is power. And when you're all over the place, you tend to break things. And so I actually don't do bad for 9 holes. To give myself a little credit, for 9 holes, I can actually hang and be about below average. Okay. That last 9, I just fall off. Apparently, I'm mentally weak. I'm mentally soft. And the last time I went, I'm going to name drop, but it was Danny Woodhead, Larry the Cable Guy, myself, and then my brother-in-law, Phil, who's about the only person who's worse at golfing than me. Hi, Phil. How you doing? And, man, Danny and Larry are good. Dan Whitney, they're good, which only highlighted how bad I am. I was like, holy crap. And then I could see them like they were being nice at first. And then their patience ran out. And then you get to the point where you're like, patience is out with somebody, but you just kind of ignore what's going on. Like, that's what was happening like the last 4 to 5 holes for me.
Fair enough. I mean, 18 holes is long. I'll admit I'm a below average golfer myself as well. And I know it's against golf spirit or whatever, but I prefer 9 holes myself, just because if you give me 18, there's going to be one where I'm just so frustrated because I just can't, for whatever reason, everybody's kind of moving on. So I noticed something too, is that people throughout my life, I've noticed that people like to play games that they're good at. Most people don't stick to games that they're not very good at. So it's kind of interesting because, like, for Sean, he's had an injury. He's saying now that he's retiring, he's going to move to golf. So
retiring from what?
We're trying from other activities.
What?
Basically, basketball is what he tore his Achilles on. But it was so yeah, and he's got surgery today. So best of luck to him. But it might be something I might pick up later when I can't, do some other things. But I'm not very good at it, so I haven't gotten too into golf yet.
So Vershawn's having surgery, torn Achilles today.
Yeah.
All right, thoughts and prayers. Go ahead.
He was debating whether he's going to go in and have surgery or not. So I guess we'll see around the captain show time. If he shows up, it means he didn't get the surgery. So we'll see.
So we're less than 2 hours from the captain, and you don't know if he's going to be there because you don't know if he's having surgery or not.
No, he doesn't want to go under the knife. He's a little bit worried about that. But and he thinks that he's had success healing it on his own before. That was years early when he was yet younger. So he's been advised by doctors to go under the knife, and he's as of yesterday hasn't undecided yet on it. So
well, whatever Vershawn decides, thoughts and prayers, my friend. I understand not wanting to get surgery. So some may or may not know I've had 10 surgeries throughout my life, and no, I'm not talking about the little teeny tiny X, the scopes. I'm talking about cut wide the frick it open. 6 times I said frick easy. 6 times on my knee, 2 times on my left ankle, and 1 on each shoulder. And I've had some scopes as well, but again, I don't really count those. And I've had a torn meniscus in my knee that has had 6 surgeries. Like Dr. James Andrews, I literally moved my family down to Pensacola, Florida, more specifically Gulf Breeze. Most people haven't heard of that, but Pensacola, Florida, to the Andrews Institute, and I was there for 6 months rehabbing. And Andrews and I got really close. In fact, there was a kid who tore his ACL about 3-4 years ago, and I hadn't talked to him in 6-7 years. I called him, he answered, "Hey, Adam, how you doing?" And I connected him with the kid's family, and well, they didn't listen to him, but I connected him, and he gave their advice. He played. I'm not going to say any names. He played sports. This was a 4th grader. He played football. He played basketball. Especially think about football and basketball and baseball with a torn ACL for 2 more years and just wore the brace.
Oh wow!
I'm just going to let that lie. That still blows my mind to this day. But we're down there, okay, at Pensacola. This is about 10 years ago when we stayed there for 6 months. And one day, Dr. Andrews walks by me. I'd had 6 major surgeries. Like I tore the quad tendon. Then a month later in rehab with the Redskins trainers, who later got fired, by the way, not because of this, but for other things. Tore it again. Then, oh, man, after that, it gets hard to even remember. Tore it again. Then I couldn't you need a certain range of motion. You need to get to 90 degrees. Then you need to get to 120 degrees range of motion before they'll clear you. I couldn't get to 90. So they literally went in and removed a bunch of scar tissue. I got to 105, okay? And I got stuck at 105, and they're like, there's not any scar tissue left in there. Well, what had happened was a freaking bone grew out of nowhere and was restricting my movement.
I didn't know that happened.
I did not know either. I was not pleased. So another major surgery. And so this time, it wasn't the Redskins team doctor. I was tired of that guy. I went to the Nationals team doctor, who was a great dude. I haven't said his name in a while, Dr. Wemi Dewogi. All right, and I actually did say that right. And he's still their Nationals team doctor. He took out the bone. And then, again, it gets a little foggy after that. So you got the torn quad tendon, then you got the scar tissue, then you got the bone. Then I got an infection in my knee. I remember we're well over about 1.5 years after the initial surgery, and I had a great day of rehab. And I'm like, and I had another surgery, and I can't even remember. I was 5 surgeries deep at this point. There's another one. I can't even remember why. And I'm like, I'm going to do something that's never been done before in the history of the NFL. I'm going to have 5 freaking major knee surgeries. I'm going to come back and play. I couldn't even walk normal for a year, just for perspective, okay? And so about 1.5 years later, after the initial torn quad tendon, I have a great day of rehab. Like, finally. I don't have to, like, I'd be walking up and down the mall and my leg would just give out, and you might see Christmas presents flying in the air. Like, it was that iffy for me at times. Finally, I don't have to worry about walking and my leg giving out. We had started actual running. So I had been on the anti-gravity treadmill for a bit. So you run at like 25% of your body weight, then 50%, then 75% as time goes along. I was now running full body weight on the treadmill. And then the next step is just gently starting to cut and change directions. We had just started that. It felt great. It was reacting great. Everything was great. I'm like, Ange, I'm going to freaking do it. Go home that night. My knee balloons up. Just insanely painful too. Like, I would argue worse than the initial torn quad tendon. So I call Larry, the head trainer. I'm like, dude, I don't know what happened here. They bring me in. They look at it the next day, do some tests. They're like, you got an infection in there. Somehow I got a freaking, I don't know how. Don't know what happened. That turned into my 6th knee surgery. So anyways, long story short, it was the whole process of starting over. And it was a faster process, but I had to learn how to walk again, et cetera, et cetera. And so one day Andrews just walks by me out of nowhere in Pensacola. I'm sitting there, I'm working with his head trainer. He goes, "Hey, you're lucky you can even walk." And then he just walks away. I was like, well, thanks for the words of encouragement. But, my point is I got to a point where I was sick and tired of surgery, just sick and tired of surgeries. I'd had 10 at that point. I got cleared for the knee. So we're talking another year down the road. It was like 2.5, 3 years before I finally got ultimately cleared after the initial injury and all the surgeries. And I got cleared. And I'm like, man, my right knee, which is the knee that's had all the surgeries, feels great. Feels great compared to what it could feel like.
Sure.
I'm like, it's actually my better knee. What is going on with my left knee? And I was like, what the heck? So I go into the doctor. He goes, "You have a torn meniscus in that knee." I was like, so that's why the knee that's had 6 surgeries feels great, and the knee with 0 surgeries feels terrible. He goes, "Now here's the good news. You don't have to have surgery." He goes, "You can get it fixed." He goes, "You can also live with this." He goes, "Eventually, at some point, you're going to run out of patience with this because it does cause some issues, but you can live life." I mean, full disclosure, I just came from coaching a basketball practice, and I was scrimmaging the 3rd graders, so it's not like I'm, throwing down 360 windmill dunks here. But, I can do those types of things, and I can work out. But he goes, eventually at some point, you're going to want to get that fixed. That was exactly 10 years ago. And I've just now gotten to the point. So what I'm getting at is I understand being sick of surgeries, not wanting to do surgeries. It's not something you want to do unless you have to do. I just got to the point probably about a month ago where I told my wife, I'm like, all right, I'm tired of living with this thing. I need to get it fixed. I've been putting off that surgery, which isn't even a gargantuan surgery, for 10 years because I don't like surgery.
Just don't want to do it again.
So long-winded way of saying thoughts and prayers to Vershawn, speedy recovery, whatever that entails, surgery, rehab. There's going to be rehab no matter what, whether it entails surgery or not. Nothing but the best, my friend. Good luck to you figuring out what the heck to do with the show at 1 o'clock as well. All right, Adam Carriker Show. You're going to hear Husker Sports. Tales of woe of surgeries as well, apparently, today.
Can I ask you why? Yeah. So James Anders, that's just a name you hear often. Why is he, I guess, so prevalent with athletes?
Well, he's the most world-renowned orthopedic surgeon that there is. Now he's in his 80s. At the time, he was 70. Dude, by the way, 75, and he had more energy than most 45-year-olds I know. The dude walked around like he just lived and drank Red Bull and energy drinks, but he doesn't. He just has energy. He's really good. He actually did my first surgery I'd ever had all the way back in 2007 on my shoulder in Birmingham. So he has 2 main places where his offices are: Birmingham, Alabama, Pensacola, Florida. And so he had done my very first one. So that's how I actually knew him. And I hit him up. He's like, "Hey, come down to Pensacola. You're going to have to stay here. This seems like more of a, you're not just going to come in, get surgery, and be out the next day, recover at home. Like you're going to have to spend time here on this knee, unlike my shoulder." But he's been doing it for so long. He has had so many successful surgeries, and he's trained. Like now, even at that point, he wasn't even the guy who would do some of the surgeries. He was training other people. He would, of course, still do some, but he also he was training people. And now he's got all these people he's trained that are some of the best out there. So it's kind of like a great coach. You're really good. You do it for a long time, and then you train people, and it just branches off, and they become really good head coaches. That's kind of his tree as well, his training tree, his tree of success as a surgeon, and just a good dude, if you will. But, yeah. Adam Carriker Show, Husker Sports, college football, unique insight. Actually, I kind of messed that up. It's supposed to be sports in general, but you're going to get unique insight, unbridled honesty. And producer Jake and I, even on a Wednesday, are going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. All right, man. Lots of stuff we can talk about. You know what? Let's start off the top with this. I showed you this. Re-ranking. I just thought this would be fun. And I don't know who's number 1. I can take a guess. I don't know who's 18. I don't know where Nebraska is. But I saw this article by Ben Kenny of Badgers Wire. So I'm going to assume there's some Wisconsin bias. And maybe that's okay. Re-ranking all 18 Big Ten football helmets from worst to first. Now, before we look at this, and again, I have not looked at this, who do you think is first? Who do you think is worst? And where do you think Nebraska is on this list?
See, these lists usually frustrate me because they'll penalize Nebraska for not having an imaginative helmet, and they'll have Penn State at number 2 or something. Yes. This is usually, so that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
But I always, that's always my kind of pet peeve with these things, because I think Nebraska should just get that same bump that Penn State gets. This is a historical helmet. Alabama's, these ones don't have to be magnificent as far as design, but they take you back to yesteryear. So I would put those near the top. I have to admit, Ohio State's helmet stickers probably be ranked up there. I think Michigan's deserve to be number 1. The winged helmets I think are fantastic. Now, when you look at the bottom of that, maybe you're kind of looking at maybe some newer designs, not so much historic helmets, or I kind of think maybe like a Rutgers isn't all that impressive. Northwestern, looks like they had to like find a way to make their N unique.
They
and
got stuck with it.
They found something, but so I mean, those would probably be the ones I would put near the bottom.
All right, let's see. So before we dive in real quick and look at this list for the first time, it's interesting to me because I think you're right. I fully expect Michigan to be 1, Ohio State to be towards the top, probably Penn State too. You don't get much more, let's just be honest, iconic and blasé than Penn State. It's just a white helmet, okay? But if you win games, it's seen as iconic. If you don't, it's seen as out of touch or out of date. Like the same helmet could be seen as out of date, as iconic, if whether the team's winning or losing. And I think if Nebraska's still winning 9+ games a year, we're probably seen more as iconic. Let's see what happens here. All right. Also, the text line, ladies and gentlemen, text into the text line your reaction as we go from 18 to 1. Okay, what is that number, Jake?
402-464-5685.
Has it ever changed since you've been on the ticket?
It has not. That's been our number.
That is impressive.
And I still forget it once in a while.
I never say it half the time. I'm pretty sure I know it, but I never say it because I know you will. So I don't even know if I know
wake up in the middle of the night and start saying it.
I bet you do. You nailed it, dude. Number 18, Rutgers Scarlet Knights. All right. Here's what, let me see who wrote this. Ben Kenny had to say, Rutgers, and it's the white helmet with the red R on it. All right. Rutgers helmets lack much flavor or creative design. While the R is simple in a good way, it isn't correlated with much on-field success. What we were just talking about, much on-field success since Rutgers became a Big Ten member or prior to being in the Big Ten. All right. There aren't any truly bad helmets in this conference. I would agree with that. Though this one just does not stand out from the pack. All right, number 17 is Illinois. So you kind of expected Rutgers to be in this era or area. Did you think Illinois would be down here?
I didn't. I love Illinois' color combination. Now, they do switch their helmets a little bit, maybe more than people would like. I kind of like the Jeff George Illinois thing on the sideline or on the side. They've kind of gone to, more of this block blue eye. So I guess that makes a little more sense. But I love their color combination. I put it higher.
Where is the text? How do we see the text line? Because we're doing things different today. Normally you have it in front of you.
So it's just this tab right here.
Aha.
So just go back and forth if you want to look from there to there.
All right. Now, apparently Jake golfed terribly. Is that about you or is that about a different Jake? That's got to be
Sorensen. Sorensen usually golfs well. If it's about me, then that's not.
That's 11:05.
Yeah.
All right. This is, I don't look at the text line a lot because Jake always does this. This is kind of new for me. This will be fun. All right. When it comes to Illinois, you know what's ironic? I don't like their color combo.
You don't?
You
Blue
like
and orange? How could you not?
I just, sometimes if you're a school, you get stuck with what you get stuck with. I still think to this day, Oregon has done more with less than any other school in the country. Green and yellow. Pardon my language. It's literally like throw-up colors, okay? And look what they did with it. Talk about making lemonade out of lemons, and they're known for it. They're iconic for it. Yeah, I'd say they're iconic, bordering on iconic. They've been doing it long enough, and they've turned it into their brand.
Yeah.
Illinois, if I'm being fair, I don't want to get uber excited about the color combo to begin with, but just an orange helmet with a navy blue eye. I mean, I got to be honest. I probably would put Rutgers in front of this with all due respect. Okay, that's just me. That's just me.
Red and white. You like those colors, right?
That is true. That is true. Minnesota down here at 16. I would agree with this. Again, it's like, I love gold. Okay. Don't come at me with Colorado crap, but I love black and gold. All right. Don't come at me with a bunch of Colorado crap. All right. I love black and gold. What is this? Maroon, brown, something in gold. I don't love the color combo. I love gold. I don't love the brown, maroon, whatever it is. Oh, here it goes. While Minnesota's maroon and gold color scheme works well, its helmet contains far too much flash. It depends on how much flash you want, I guess. All right, the best helmets are both subtle and elaborate, just not oversized, not an oversized M and a shiny font. I could get behind that as I'm looking at this helmet. It's a huge M. It is a bit much. It might actually be a situation where I agree with this person. A little bit less might have been more in this particular helmet. What are your thoughts?
Well, and I think they too, when you don't have an iconic helmet, you're allowed to kind of try some different things out. And that's kind of what Minnesota has done over the years, but to the point that they, sometimes they'll have a gopher on their helmet. So, so they kind of switch it up too much in this sort of case where, it might be flashy for a game or get some recruits' attention, but it's not like they're straying away from an iconic helmet. So I think they kind of fall into the trap of they change their helmets too much not like on a yearly basis, just on a game by game basis to the fact that they're just base helmet. can't be all that great if they don't even care for it on a week-to-week basis.
That's a fair point. You are allowed a little bit more flexibility. I mean, you're allowed to do whatever the heck you want, but how people view things, perception becomes reality over time. How people view things, the perception is you're allowed to try more things. If you're a school like Minnesota who's trying to maybe stand out, stick out, win a few more games always helps, just like Nebraska. But you make a good point with that, trying a few different things. Hopefully at some point something sticks. I forgot about the gopher on the helmet.
Yeah. I like that one, but
that was interesting. That's one of the ones I'm not sure if I like. I'll tell you what I didn't like. I didn't like the angry Daffy Duck outside of the old Oregon helmets, the yellow and legit green, and then the angry Daffy Duck. I did not like that. All right. How many more we got time for before we head to break here, Jake?
Let's see.
It's 11:22, my friend.
We probably got one or two to still go here.
All right, here we go. Purdue Boilermakers. And this is another school that I feel like changes it quite a bit. I'm looking at the black helmet with, what would you say that color is on this particular helmet?
Like light gold or something?
Yeah, something like that. I actually don't hate, like when Drew Brees was there, okay, there was like the gold helmet with the black P on the side of it, maybe the black stripe down the middle of the helmet, if I remember right. I'd have to go look it up. I prefer those, but again, like Minnesota, they're trying different things. They're trying to stick out, trying to see what works best. I'm fine with them at 15. If I'm being honest, I'm kind of disinterested when it comes to Purdue, and I do prefer their other helmets, like when Drew Brees was there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I probably would have had this lower on the list, and that's despite the good color combination that you were mentioning earlier. I do like black and gold as well. But, I mean, it is, you know, a lot of these are just block letters. And again, from Nebraska's standpoint, we can't talk too much. Ours aren't even block letters, but it kind of stands out as, you know, historically and iconically. But if you don't have that and you just kind of go with a simple block letter, you know, it's not going to stand out too much as far as helmets go. So I agree with you. I think the older ones are better. They've tried the kind of these railroad tracks down the middle type of thing. Okay, again, kind of maybe new recruiting type of tools, but not going to be iconic for a helmet.
You know what? You pointed out the gold and black. They have exactly the color combo I like. Should I say they've done less with more as opposed to more with less, like Oregon? Like, I feel like they could have done a little bit more with this. Here we are being freaking like red carpet, what do you call it? Fashion snobs.
That's right.
We've turned into fashion snobs, Jake. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's just, I think Purdue, there's some things, like you said, so they're back in the 90s, you know, and maybe before then, there were kind of these cartoonish looking logos, and some of them I loved, like Sparky on Arizona State's helmet. I loved it. Iowa State had Psy. I love those ones, but people have kind of gone away from a more the basic kind of look. And personally, I just don't love it. But I guess my point in all that is some teams like Arizona State, Iowa State have good secondary logos or other logos they can jump to. Minnesota, that gopher I mentioned. Purdue's just doesn't have an alternate logo that's all that attractive. So if I think, what would I do if I did the Purdue uniform? It's almost design a logo that is attractive to begin with. So I don't know what they can do if their primary logo is just a P. They don't go far. They don't skirt far away from that.
Dude, I forgot about the old cyclone on the side of the Iowa State helmets.
Gorgeous, I thought, but they went away with it.
Was Seneca Wallace there at that
time?
Oh,
yeah. Those are my favorite uniforms with the little red, in yellow eyes on it. I thought that was fantastic. They went completely switch color schemes and go with the block eye now. So,
all right, we're down to number 14. We better head to break. It's 11:25. We've got a special couple of guests joining us after the break. All right, after we interview our special guest, we will resume and pick up the list with about 10 minutes to go in the hour. I'm going to tell you right now, the one at number 14 I find disrespectful. This one should be much, much higher. We'll get into that later. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey, it's Adam Carriker. Join me this Wednesday, June 11th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the Adam Carriker Show live at Schwisow Construction to celebrate their ribbon cutting and open house and celebrating 40 years of excellence with a remodeled facility. That's Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Schwisow Construction, 3700 South 6th Street.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Find
finally a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through June 24th are $1 off ground beef, 15% off on aprons, 15% off cornhead beer, and buy one, get one 50% off on brats and hot dogs, limit 2. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime and so much more when you join today. You heard that right. Conquer the stair climber with your partner in climb. Enjoy a post-workout recovery session in the hydro massage and do it all again with access to any of our 2,700 convenient locations. So, you coming? Get all the perks with the PF Black Card for $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, you won't want to miss this exclusive offer. Deal ends June 13th.
See Club for details.
Be at the 32nd Annual Testicle Festival for live music and, of course, balls. It's at Round the Bend Steakhouse in Ashland, June 14th from 11 to 10. Take I-80 exit 426, roundthebendsteakhouse.com.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Make sure you tune in every Saturday from 11 to 12 for all things youth football with Tank Perry and Jim Sandman. Learn how the game of youth football has grown in and around the capital city with coaches, athletic directors, and league commissioners telling you all about it. It's all things youth football with Tank Perry and Jim Sandman every Saturday from 11 to noon right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. If you didn't know, now you know. It's a special day. We are on location. We're live at Schwisow Construction, 3700 South 6th Street, to celebrate their open house as they unveil their newly expanded and renovated office headquarters. Ladies and gentlemen, they started things off today with a ribbon cutting around 10 a.m., and now you are invited to come down and enjoy food, drink, see the expansion as Schwisow Construction celebrates 40 years, 4 decades in business at Schwisow Construction at 3700 South 6th Street. Open house goes until 1 p.m. Jake is so distraught by some of these helmet sticker rankings, he's decided to take a break. This segment, he couldn't handle it anymore. The truth is, we actually have a couple of special guests, and I want to bring them on at this time. I am joined by Jason Pauling of the Food Bank and Westlake of Schwisow Construction. How you doing, my friends?
Good. Doing great. Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time. All right, so you're celebrating several things. I just mentioned a couple of them, but another one is you guys have formed a partnership. Okay, do you want to talk about that partnership, how that works, and what people need to know?
Yeah, so when we first started talking about our remodel and expansion and how we were going to invest back into the community, one of the things that was very important for us was to pick a partner that served our community and the surrounding communities. And there's just no better partner out there than the Lincoln Food Bank with the mission that they have to improve the food inequity in our part of the world here. And so Jason and his team have been instrumental in that and have just been amazing partners.
Thank you, Adam. At the Food Bank of Lincoln, our mission, like you said, is to alleviate hunger in southeast Nebraska. We do that across 16 counties. And partnerships like we have with Schwisow are so important. And I just couldn't be more thankful for this group here to help in this new relationship this year. Already this year, we've done things together like the sponsorship for our Empty Bowls event we just had back in May. It was a record-setting event in part because of sponsors like Schwisow and then all other financial support as well. With that support, we've already been able to provide over 15,000 meals to people in southeast Nebraska because of Schwisow's support. So couldn't be more thankful.
That's awesome. You guys are making a huge impact. And sometimes if you wake up with a roof over your head and clothes on your back and you know you're going to get 3-4 meals a day, you sometimes forget that's not always the case for everybody out there. Like I know there's some families that my kids go to school with. Their kids don't always know if they're going to go home and have food or not, right. And things provided that some folks might have on a daily basis. And so you're doing, like you said, you're trying to alleviate hunger. You're making a huge impact in the community in southeastern Nebraska. Okay, if people want to learn more, if they want to help contribute, how can they do so? Where can they do that at?
I think the best way, Adam, is to go out to the Food Bank of Lincoln website, lincolnfoodbank.org. And right now, quite honestly, we just found our latest numbers, and the need out there is the greatest that it's ever been in southeast Nebraska, and then the resources are a little shorter than they have been. So probably the best way is to go out to the website, and there's a way to donate either financially or to volunteer, to do a food drive, different things like that, all at the website.
Okay, so there's one more thing you're celebrating, all right, that I have not mentioned yet, the completion of Lincoln Manufacturing Center for Tiptee Trailer Corporation. Talk to us about that. Help us learn more about that.
Yeah, thanks. We embarked on this journey as a company well over 2 years ago, and we were fortunate enough to have a partnership with Tiptee for several years. We did their corporate headquarters out in David City, and then most recently out at Air Park. We constructed for them a 200,000 square foot manufacturing and office facility that they have. I think one of the cool things about what Tiptee, obviously other than putting out a world-class product that really differentiates them from other trailer manufacturers with the quality that they have, but they've also brought 100 jobs, 100 well-paying jobs to Lincoln with that move. And so we're so excited. We've got a few of their folks here today visiting with us as well, but we're certainly excited to come to the near end of that project, and we're so grateful for the relationship with Tiptee.
That is awesome. All right, talk to me a little bit about Schwisow Construction. I mean, 40 years. We think about 4 decades. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and in fairness, I just went with a company a very short time, but coming into a company that's got a 40-year legacy of integrity, innovation, and trust in the community, I'm really grateful for that opportunity. And I think just in the complex that we're sitting in around here, Adam, you can talk to the guys here. You just drive through here with them, and they point out everything that we built, even within this complex. You just can't go anywhere in Lincoln without passing something that Schwisow was the foundational builder of. And so that legacy continues to live on, and we're really proud of our new space. The new space allows us to serve customers even better, and allows us to show them about the growth and innovation that we have for the future of our company. So it's a great time for us. We're really excited.
That is exciting. Big things ahead, success in the past, all right, making an impact in the community, forming relationships. And just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, we are live at Schwisow Construction. Again, come down, come join us, grab some food, grab some drinks. You can hear us chatter away, have some fun. Hopefully something intelligent comes out at some point from my end. You guys are dropping knowledge. This is phenomenal. All right, come down, celebrate their open house as they unveil their newly expanded and renovated office headquarters. All right, I got to ask, Husker sports fans, and if so, which sport is do you lean on? And if not, no big deal.
Got to throw the bones.
Throw the bones. All right, so football, I take it. Okay. What do you want to see out of year 3, Matt Rule? What would you define as a successful season?
A successful season would be nothing short of a bowl game.
Okay,
certainly.
All right.
But I think we all know that they have it in them to go all the way here in the next couple of years. And I think there's been some new blood brought into the team and some new ideas. Couple that with some of the traditions that the team has, and there's just no other place like it. And so I think we're all excited, as is the rest of the community, for the season. We just wanted to get here.
Yes, you reach, for me, I get to about like when July 4th is over. As a player, because we would be doing summer conditioning, getting ready, like that's when I would be like, all right, camp's right around the corner. As a fan, as someone who does a show, once July 4th is over, I mean, I'm not getting ready to do 2-a-days anymore. I'm not kidding myself, but I'm like, man, it's here. And I start to get anxious and I start to get excited. So we're starting to approach that time of year. What about you? Husker sports fan in general, or anything like that?
Sports fan in general, but I'd say I'm a huge fan of the Husker football players. They're out at the food bank once a week just to getting to talk to some of these kids, such high character guys, and what Coach Rule has going there. And with Gus on his team leading the Husker football players out there every week and what they're doing in the community, even outside the food bank. Just a huge fan of those kids and wishing nothing but the best for them.
What are some of the players you've seen out there? That's a cool thing to hear about.
Yeah, I've seen Dylan Raiola's been out there and several of the players. It's usually a group of about 10 to 15. So there's a lot of them out there and making a difference. And just watching them interact with other volunteers out there is something to see. So I really appreciate that.
That is very cool. All right, one more football question for either one of you. What excites you? Let's take success out. Let's take wins and losses out. Just what excites you the most as we head into year 3 under Matt Rule?
Hard play and grit. Hard play. I think you always want your team to win, but when you go out and you see the kind of effort that our team throws out there on a day in and day out basis, nobody likes to see your team lose, but as long as you played through to the end and ran through the finish line, that's what everybody's looking for. And that's quite honestly what I think Nebraska fans are looking for year in, year out, is that hard play and grit that's come to symbolize from the team.
That's a perfect way of putting it. Like going out and playing with pride, giving Nebraska fans something to be proud of. Like you said, everyone wants to win, but going out and playing with pride, representing this great state, making us proud. All right. If there's anything I haven't brought up yet or anything I've left out, anything else you want the fine folks at home to know about?
The only thing I would mention is, Jason shared how anybody that's listening out there could donate and help with the Lincoln Food Bank. If you're out in the area, you've given our address. We're down here on South 6th behind the silos. Anybody wants to come out, we're accepting donations of non-perishable food items here at our office all day today. And we'll be here accepting those into this evening. So if anybody wants to drop something off, you're in the area, maybe you're listening, you're in the grocery store right now, and you want to pick up a couple more things and bring them in for the food bank, we'd be glad to have you here and host you.
There's a can caravan going on this week through 10/11. So multiple places across town accepting food as well. So the last thing I'd say, Adam, is just a big thank you to the community for doing things like the can caravan and Give to Lincoln that just happened in May. The community came out in a big, big way for a lot of nonprofits in Lincoln. So I just want to say thank you to everybody and thank you to you guys for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us on location today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're able to help make a difference, help make an impact. All right. Thank you, fine gentlemen, for joining me. My pleasure to meet you. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
and electrical.
Be at the 32nd Annual Testicle Festival for some fun, rain or shine. Free entry for military. It's at Round the Bend Steakhouse in Ashland, June 14th from 11 to 10. Take I-80 exit 426, roundthebendsteakhouse.com.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Attention! Acres is cutting interest rates and offering great deals below market value, the largest selection of used inventory in the nation. For a limited time, Acres is offering interest rates as low as 2.9% on our late model John Deere ag equipment. Acres low interest rates, along with our below market prices on select John Deere used planters, tractors, sprayers, and combines, makes it a great time to upgrade your equipment for the 2025 season. Visit acres.com for details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends June 30th, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Staying healthy and comfortable starts with the air you breathe. If you're noticing more dust, odors, or allergies, it could be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Pure Air starts with cleaner air ducts. Pair with enhanced filtration and purifications options, and the difference is amazing. When the air you breathe is clean and fresh, your home smells fresher, and your family is healthier. Time for cleaner air in your home? Call Bryant for a free estimate. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. Once again, if you didn't know, now you know. I decided to work this particular Wednesday because we're live at the Schwisow Construction company, 3700 South 6th Street, to celebrate their open house as they unveil their newly expanded and renovated offices and headquarters. Ladies and gentlemen, Schwisow Construction has been around for 40 years. I'm 41 years old.
Wow.
4 decades. You're 38? Am I remembering
35,
right?
35.
They
Just
are
turned 35.
considerably older than you are. That is
A
impressive.
little bit, yeah.
All right, they started things off today with a ribbon cutting at 10 a.m. Now you're invited to come down, enjoy food, drink, and see the expansion as Schwisow Construction celebrates 40 years in business. Again, Schwisow Construction at 3700 South 6th Street. Open house goes until the close of this fine program at 1 p.m. Now, I got to admit, you were so upset you couldn't even join us last segment. Now you're back. Have you calmed down? I'm having fun with this. All right, are you ready for – and actually, I accidentally scrolled too far, so we know who the next 3 helmets are now. In fact, I said I got to stop scrolling. Now, Husker fans are not going to be happy. There's one hint. There's a team we've already talked about not having a great helmet that is, in fact, ahead of Nebraska. That's another hint. But this one of 14, I think this is disrespectful. The Washington Huskies, and I'm staring at the gold helmet with the purple W. Now, to me, Washington's a well above average football program. They may not be elite, may not be in that elite conversation. But again, you take wins and losses into account, but at a certain point, you got to just take the uniform itself into account. And to me, this is almost an iconic uniform. And when I think of this gold helmet with the purple W, first of all, it looks good. If you haven't figured out, I'm partial to gold. All right. But back in 91, when they shared the national title with Miami, and James was their head coach, and I'm thinking about those teams that were really, really good. I always thought if Washington played Miami that year, I would have favored Washington, but we'll never know. Okay, but it's a unique color combination. You pointed out during the break, I don't think there's any other gold and purple color combination in the country. I think it looks great as I look at this helmet right now. Now, I do know over the years they've messed with other combinations. Like for a while, they had a purple helmet with a white W. I think they even stuck a Husky on the side of a helmet, not for long, maybe a year. So they've kind of messed with it, and it's kind of like, with all due respect, like you're not Purdue, you're not some of these other schools. You're trying to find your identity. Like you have had it, go back to it, and they're 14th. As I stare at this helmet, this is a top 5 Big Ten helmet. It feels like anti-Pac-12, new in the Big Ten team bias, in my opinion. What say you, Jake?
Well, I do like the list because it is changing things up a little bit, and it allows us to kind of have these conversations. But yeah, I'm surprised to see Washington this low. Again, it's kind of funny. We talk about just the letters and how that can hurt teams, and I don't think it's quite a historic helmet, but they've had so much success. I mean, it's a quarterback school, yes. That's for sure. You mentioned some of the teams in the 90s. I always think of the Hewards, the Tuiasasopos, yep. Jake Locker, those sort of types of guys. And so I'm surprised to see it this low. I think there's other things that kind of connect me to it. If I see that helmet, I think they're beautiful stadium. I think they have one of the best stadiums in the country. And I think it's kind of weird. They're not quite a blue blood, not quite, one of the top programs in college football, but they're just kind of in that, next tier. And they are one of those teams that I would say I'm a little bit more engaged when Washington is good at football. We've seen years they go 0-12 and stuff like that. That's no good for football. I like when Washington's better. And so, this unique, like you said, purple and gold, this has got to be way higher to me. I think, closer to the top 5. I haven't gone through my own head of what, but they'd be knocking on the door at least.
We'll have to do that at the end. And we do not have a top 5 prepared. I kind of already know. 5 schools immediately popped into my head. We'll do that at the end, though. But this is, without exactly knowing just yet, I think this would be a top 5 helmet for me. Oh, man. I'm going to go a couple of daggers here. I may even put this ahead of Nebraska.
Wow.
I'm just like, I like the helmet that much. And I didn't say it definitively. Whoa. I need more time to think. Now, Jake is well known on this show for doing a phenomenal job. Also, from time to time, throwing out a dagger. So
that's right.
Here's an Adam dagger. Okay, because you got to keep in mind, born in Hastings when I was 3, my dad's job took me to the state of Washington. So I grew up 4 hours from Seattle, Washington. Now, I preferred the Cougars, all right, growing up 2 hours from Pullman over Washington, but I saw a lot of Washington games. They have a conference title and championship and major bowl game appearance more recent than Nebraska.
Yeah.
Nebraska's was 99, theirs was 2000. And that was when they beat Drew Brees, Purdue in the Rose Bowl. Marcus Tuiasosopo, they finished, I think, number 3 in the country that year. They also have a conference title game appearance, a little more recent than Nebraska. They were just in the college football playoff a couple of years ago, but I forgot about that as well. They actually won a conference title that year as well. So, but I think this is way too low. Now, we are going to start to go through these a little bit quicker, but we can't do it just yet because at number 13, what in the world? Who is the team at 13, Jake?
Nebraska.
Like what?
Oh.
I know the Big Ten hates us, but seriously, 13? All right, let's read. Now, this was written by, just a reminder, a Wisconsin writer. Okay, let me go back to the top, Mr. Ben Kenny. So let me guess. Wisconsin's going to be like number 3 on this list probably, but we'll get there. Here's what he wrote. Nebraska's helmet is a classic and represents college football's blue blood programs of the 90s. Okay. By the way, it's not more than just the 90s. It's phenomenal as the 90s was. It actually goes all the way back to the late 60s, early 70s. But, don't let facts get in the way of a good story. All right, but our criteria must be applied consistently throughout the conference. Just a normal font N on a white background isn't very creative. Okay. I don't know where Penn State's going to come up on this list, but I'm going to eviscerate whatever he says with Penn State. All right, this is way too low. To me, Washington and Nebraska are top 5 helmets. And I'm trying to take my bias out when I say something like I may even put Washington ahead of Nebraska as much as I like Nebraska's helmets. But 13 is just redonkulous. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get your bias out of this. When I see Nebraska's helmet, I think of all the best memories of my life, right? I mean, this is, I love Nebraska football. It's one of my favorite things. So it's hard to take your bias out of it. But even doing that, I still just think you have to look at it from the perspective of a historic program. And, so yes, it might be plain. There might be not much imagination to it, but it represents so much more to that. And then again, even the writer, the writing on it can kind of tell you and lead you into maybe, how old this guy is, what he's kind of thinking. If he just thinks that Nebraska was great in the 90s, okay. And they often get that tag from people that aren't paying too much attention, but it was decades before that of just, annually playing in consistently important games. So Nebraska's got to be much higher. This is about as low as I've seen. I mean, I've seen disrespect, but here, I mean, they've got an 18-team conference at 13. That's pretty bad.
Dude, this isn't, say it with me, Jake. This isn't ass of 7. It's not ass of 8. This is ass of 9, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, I think I don't know the age of this guy. We could Google him. I'm not interested enough to do it with all due respect. But my point is, we won our first national title in 70-71. For over 40 years, no other school, no other college football program in the history of Earth has won 9 or more games for 40 years or more like Nebraska. So don't just point to one decade, which was a phenomenal decade. Just remember, played for multiple national titles in the 80s. People forget about 80. Okay, Clemson won that game, right? Obviously, 83. You look at 82, the 25,000-yard catch out of bounds versus Penn State. The Penn State wins the national title. That was our only loss that year. I've had Osborne tell me that he thinks 2 of his best teams ever were 82, 83. And so you go back to the 70s, obviously they win 2 national titles.
Well, and I'll add this too. It's just because I don't know the age of the guy, but that's kind of what you worried about. And we talked about this in recruiting for so long. And I said it earlier with Washington is that I feel there's certain teams that college football is better with. The people that have seen Nebraska dominant on the field would all agree college football is better with Nebraska being good. But if you're getting to that age, and I don't know what age he is, but there's certain people that haven't seen Nebraska be good. So know what it's like. They can't go and reference college football is better with Nebraska because they just don't know what it's like. So I'm going to go ahead and guess this guy is of that age.
My son has never seen it.
Yeah.
Just as for reference. He's in high school. He's never seen it. So at some point I want to pick it up, but every time I see the next team on the list, I'm just like, so you already brought up Northwestern. I got nothing but love for Northwestern. Okay. I played with Barry Cofield, won a Super Bowl with the Giants, came to the Redskins. We were teammates on the D-line together. He was a D-end. I was a nose guard. I mean, he's a good dude. We would go back and forth about Nebraska, Northwestern, but it was all good fun. If I had to rank 1 through 18, and we're going to do 1 through 5 later, with all due respect to Northwestern, somebody has to be last. For me, it would be Northwestern. Okay, that's not saying, I don't know. Somebody's got to be last. For me, it would be Northwestern. They'd be 18. Somehow they're 12th in front of us at 13th. What do you got here, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, again, and they point out maybe the color combination's not so awful. Black and anything's pretty good. Black and purple works out. But again, I mean, they've just got an ugly in. It's not even a block in. It doesn't even look uniform to me. So I don't love it. They also kind of switch it up enough here and there to not make it, standard, so because they don't have a base helmet that makes you think Northwestern outside of that logo. So I'm with you. I mean, this would have been back 18th, maybe 17th, maybe Rutgers is battling there, but this is not a good helmet.
All right. We're going to do one more, then we're going to head to break. Now, Maryland, I don't even know what I think of when I think of their helmet. And that's not a slam. They're like Oregon, and they're trying to take what they've got. I think, honestly, I think of the NASCAR is what I think of when I think of Maryland. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is what it is. I'm staring at a helmet I don't think I've ever seen in this picture. It's white and it says Terps in yellow.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen this helmet. So for me, just having no real identity at all would put Maryland probably 15, 16, 17 for me, Northwestern last. But, they're 11th on this list. I have no idea what to make of this. We're going to get into top 10 when we come back. What are your quick thoughts before we get out real quick?
Well, to your point, Maryland's got 2 helmets that I like, which means that you probably aren't sticking to a helmet. So they usually get knocked back further on these type of lists, but I do like their state flag. I think it's beautiful. I think when they incorporated that a couple years ago, that looks incredible. And then the red helmet with the Terps written out in white, I think looks really clean. But again, not enough history involved there, and they don't stick to one particular helmet. So it's one of those things. I like both, but that means I can't like one. So I'd put them back further on this list. They usually are, which again makes us argue with the list, but at least makes it worth talking about.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head to the break. We're going to go a little bit quicker, but we're going to get into the top 10. At least according to this Wisconsin writer, top 10 helmets in the Big Ten. Mr. Ben Kenny of the Badgers Wire. Don't go anywhere. Hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show. We'll be back.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Staying healthy and comfortable starts with the air you breathe. If you're noticing more dust, odors, or allergies, it could be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Pure Air starts with cleaner air ducts, hair with enhanced filtration and purifications options, and the difference is amazing. When the air you breathe is clean and fresh, your home smells fresher and your family is healthier. Time for cleaner air in your home? Call Bryant for a free estimate. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot with an afternoon high near 95. Tonight, mainly clear skies and a continued breeze, low around 67. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot again with the high near 90. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show. Do not check your calendar. Yes, it is indeed a Wednesday. And yes, I am indeed working here alongside my good friend, Jake Bakovan. All right, we're doing a special show. We are live on location. Schwisow Construction. Stop by, ladies and gentlemen, 3700 South 6th Street to celebrate their open house as they unveil their newly expanded and renovated office headquarters. Again, that's Schwisow Construction, 3700 South 6th Street. Come down, come join us, get some food, hang out. Open house goes until 1 p.m. Now, we've gotten some comments. All right, I'm going to let you reach across because I know I'm technologically challenged. Apparently, it's worse than I thought. So you're going to reach across, and you're going to check out these comments and questions from the fans and let me know what exactly they've said so far. I know one guy sent in like a GIF of me in gold or something.
Yeah, that's right. That's Eric sent in a gift there of gold member from Austin Power saying, I love gold because we've made it be known. That seems to be ranking on your list if you've got gold in there.
Yeah.
Then we had IQ Cruz say, if I were Purdue, I would embrace the train. I feel like it could take off. And yeah, you feel like there's something creatively they could do there.
That's a good point.
I don't mind that. And Jordan P said cursive Terps in red or black is one of the best looks. So he agrees with me. I think I like Maryland's helmets. They just don't stick to one.
Yeah, stick to one. You need something that people kind of recognize a little bit of brand recognition, if you will. I like the train idea.
Yeah.
Didn't they do that at one point? I thought they did at one point.
They might have. I know, again, they've got that kind of railroad thing going down, so they're trying to embrace it somehow. But as far as like a train logo, I can't remember specifically, but that does sound familiar.
All right, so we're going to move a little quicker here. We did sneak ahead. So we do sneak a peek looking ahead. We do know 10 through 1. All right, we didn't memorize it, but we have an idea of what's coming up. Number 10 is Indiana. I'm just going to be honest with you. I've said this on other shows in the past. I got nothing against Indiana's helmets, nothing against their logo. It's just always looked like a cactus to me. The I and the U's always look like a cactus. I don't know if that's good or bad. That's just what sticks out in my mind. But Indiana's at number 10. What do you got, Jake?
Yeah, that or a pitchfork. I don't know. This might be recency bias. I mean, it's not bad, but again, if I'm only saying because Indiana won last year, might be more on the forefront of your mind. Normally, this is near the back end. Kind of reminds you whenever you see it one way or the other of basketball anyway. It's a basketball school, so I wouldn't put it too far up there. Again, almost just because of the confusion of what am I even looking at.
Yep. I think of the was it Ursula from The Little Mermaid when you said the pitchfork thing?
Yeah.
That she had. Is that called a pitchfork if it's in The Little Mermaid or whatever?
I think so. Not for sure, but Trident, yeah.
Trident. There we go. Appreciate that. Who chimed in with that?
I think it was Jackson.
Jackson. Way to go, Jackson.
Oh, it's Austin back there.
How's it going, Austin? I blame Jake. He said Jackson. All right, no, I'm just kidding. So I fully expected Penn State to be top 5. They're at number 9. Now, again, if we're going for a little pizzazz, which this writer's made clear, this helmet is iconic and one of my favorite, I'm just going to be honest with you, in the country, because sometimes just being who you are is all you need to be. And sometimes less is more. But by his own standards, how is Penn State not 18 if we're looking for something? Now, he's got them at 9. I honestly have no problem with that. I'm glad they're not top 5 because that's what I expected. But Penn State's at 9. What do you think, Jake?
I like where it's at. I mean, normally it is going to be ranked higher because of it, historically, but I have to discount a little bit for you didn't do anything with this helmet. You just, just pick it up and use it. So it can't be that fantastic. So, but I would usually kind of place it behind the flag, the Ohio State, Michigan, whatever, the top teams, and then kind of put Penn State in there. So I don't mind it getting docked a few points in this list.
I got to ask, Alabama, the numbers on the side of the helmet. Do you like that? I know it's not on this list. It's SEC. I've never liked it. Like, why the numbers? Like, you have the numbers all over your freaking jersey. Why do they have to be on the side of your helmet? Like, I like the blank Penn State helmet better. I don't know. It's like I felt this way ever since I was a kid. So maybe this is the 6-year-old me coming out through the 40-year-old one mouth version of me. But it's just like they tried, couldn't come up with anything, and this is what they stuck with. I don't know.
Well, I like it because it's somewhat unique. And obviously everybody's got a different helmet, but a different number there, and it's historic. So for me, I like it. I get your point. But it's kind of like Penn State and Alabama were like the first in line of least creative, and so they were able to find like kind of the generic stuff and make it their own, which is fine. But again, you have to hold out points for creativity.
Least creative became their niche, and now they get points for it. Okay, that makes sense to me. All right, if you're going to dock Nebraska, let's go back to what he read about Nebraska. All right. Nebraska's helmet is a classic and represents one of college football's blue blood programs of the 90s. Again, it goes way before that. Already discussed that, but our criteria must be applied consistently. Jake, consistently.
That's right.
Consistency throughout the conference. Just a normal font N on a white background isn't very creative. It's come down to 8, which is Wisconsin. That looks like a white background and just a normal, well, kind of a little fancier font. It's just bigger.
A big.
That's it. Is he rewarding them because the W is bigger than our N, so to speak? I don't know. What do you? Wisconsin's at 8. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is just a little high. I mean, they've had consistency over the last couple of decades, so they've played some good football, and that helps you out in that. You think of the Ron Danes, the great running backs have been there. So I think if you're able to kind of visualize what you're looking at in a helmet, that definitely helps. But it's just not all that. It isn't that creative, and it's not quite historic. Wisconsin was part of the story of why it's so impressive what Barry Alvarez did there. Is it was a pretty bad program before then. So this is too high, and for me, it doesn't. Wisconsin's doesn't really stand out. Isn't not in a good way or a bad way. It'd probably be in the middle of the list.
I think the one thing they have going for them, but you can make this argument for Nebraska, we do have the alternate uniforms. I don't think Wisconsin does that. I could be wrong. But they've stuck with this for years. Like when I think of Ron Dane running against UCLA, was at the 99 Rose Bowl, I believe, and upsetting a top 5 UCLA team. I think of this helmet. So the one thing they do have is they've stuck with it for a while, but you could argue that about Nebraska's helmets outside of alternate uniforms as well. So if like Nebraska were at 9 and Wisconsin were at 8, they'd be like, okay, tomato, no problem. But Nebraska's at 13, Wisconsin's at 8. Too much disparity there, from my humble opinion. Now, Oregon, this is a school at 7. This is a school that could be all over the place. Now, most people think of their uniforms and they think they've done a great job with them. Oregon's helmets, I should say, are at number 8. Now, my first thing I said when we took a sneak peek was, well, which helmet you looking at? How would you describe this, Jake?
It's kind of tough. It's got the O on the back with the wing, the duck wings up front. If you can visualize, it doesn't look like duck wings, but it's wings. So it's just tough. I mean, they do a different helmet every game. It seems
it's like it's from the Rose Bowl, I think, when they played Ohio State. If people remember that game, like the shiny, I don't want to say silver, but reflective. I don't know. I'm not just doing a very good job of describing it. I don't have a problem. Oregon, honestly, could have been top 5, top 10. You have them outside the top 10. That's the only quarry I would have. Somewhere in here, I'm good with that. All right, you want to talk about iconic? Number 6, USC. Not fancy, not over the top. Iconic, number 6. What do you think?
Yeah, and they haven't strayed too far away from it. A Trojan is cool. I would put up USC pretty high. The history they have, they're definitely a blue blood program. And, like we said, from a lot of these logos are just block letters. They've at least got, a Trojan there. A little bit cartoonish. So, again, people, over the years, they've gone away from that in college football as a whole. USC didn't. They stuck with it. So, history there. I love USC. Borderline top 5 at 6 here.
Yeah, I got no problem with this. USC at 6. All right, Michigan State at 5. This surprised me. Now, they've stayed pretty consistent over the years. I don't know that I would think of it as iconic. Probably had they won more, maybe that would be the single thing that changes my perception. When you look at USC and you got the Trojan in their helmet, and you look at Michigan State and they got the Spartan, it's very, very similar. Obviously, different colors, green and whatnot versus USC's colors. Michigan does have the thing down the middle of their helmet, which USC does not. I don't know. Tomato, tomato. Personally, I would have put USC over Michigan State. Probably that's just because they win more games. And I also probably would have had Michigan State outside the top 10. But what do you think, Jake?
See, I like Michigan State more than you do. I can tell you're not all that impressed with it. But I think outside of the Blue Bloods, this is one of the ones that, just for like design purposes, I think that Spartan looks good. Not too cartoonish, right? Not, but just kind of a good somewhat basic but good looking picture of a Spartan there. So I love and Spartan. I mean, that's pretty cool to have as your mascot and on your logo. So outside of the Blue Bloods, it might be borderline top 5 for me as well.
So this next helmet, you were surprised it was this high. For me, this would be my favorite non-blue blood helmet. Now, I've always liked North Carolina's color scheme ever since I was a kid.
Sure.
I've always liked UCLA's color scheme ever since I was a kid. UCLA, he has it number 4. All right, most people can think of what the UCLA helmet looks like. It hasn't changed a ton over the years. He's got it at 4. I don't know that I'd have it in the top 5 because it'd probably be mostly blue bloods that I'd have in the top 5 if I'm being truthfully 100% honest. But UCLA would be that very next school for me. I've always liked their color scheme. I've always liked their helmet. I don't feel like they've strayed too much. When I was younger, man, it was UCLA and Wisconsin every single year in the freaking Rose Bowl. And then they played one year in the Sun Bowl because they couldn't stop playing each other every year in the bowl game for whatever reason. But I actually like UCLA's helmets. So I don't know if most people feel that way. What do you think, Jake?
Well, I'm glad they've kind of gone back to, for a while, they were kind of a darker blue. They went back to a lighter blue. And so, I mean, I think you're right. The color combination combined with, you just think of sunny California when you're thinking about UCLA, the Rose Bowl, all that stuff helps. So, I mean, I'd put it in this top 10 certainly, but I wouldn't have it as high, just because, even the UCLA kind of script UCLA is somewhat iconic too, but maybe more for, I don't know, basketball reasons, more of a basketball school. So, I mean, I get it. I mean, it almost transcends sports, UCLA. Mm-hmm. It's just cool in general. So that's fair enough. I can see it this high. I personally would have it a little lower.
So this comment was sent in, let's see, what time is it? About 3 minutes ago. So I assume we were talking about Oregon. Great comment. Bubba says chrome, Adam. Their helmets are chrome because we couldn't think of what to call Oregon's helmets. Thank you, Bubba. Hey, we always appreciate the help of the fans here. Now, this is the most overranked helmet on here. And I'm going to take my anti-Iowa bias out of this. I've never liked the helmets. I'm not a fan of yellow in general. I don't know. I don't know how Iowa's helmets are number 3 on this list. Am I missing something?
It's pretty high for me. I mean, I love the color combination. I do think, black and I went to Lincoln Southeast, so they kind of got similar schemes, so that could maybe be part of it. But, the kind of looked like the Steelers, all that. I think it's a beautiful uniform. I've always thought their logo, like I was just kind of saying with Michigan State, it's very simple and looks good. The Hawkeye, it just looks like an ugly bird, not particularly mean. I mean, the logo looks like they could have just cleaned it up a little bit. So it's an ugly logo. I wouldn't have it so high.
Hold on. First you said you liked it. Now you said you wouldn't have it so high. I'm confused. Where are you at on this?
I love the color scheme. I like it altogether, but not number 3 in the Big Ten. Like it. I think the bird is just is ugly. I think they could have made a cleaner logo. I'll give them points to sticking with it because they do, through Hayden Fry and Kirk Ferentz. I mean, there's a long time they've been going with it, but it just looks like initially somebody could have done a better job drawing a bird.
I agree with that. I personally have just never been a fan of this. I actually know some people like yourself or some other folks who actually do like this. I would definitely not have it in the top 5. I probably wouldn't have it top 10. All right, the top 2 is not going to shock anybody. All right, number 2 is Ohio State. And I'm obviously looking at the helmet. It's got all the Buckeye stickers. For the big plays, you get the stickers. It's obviously iconic. I think it looks good. It's very recognizable. I don't have an issue with number 2, and if Ohio State's number 2, we probably know who's number 1. But initially, what are your thoughts on Ohio State at number 2?
Yeah, iconic. The helmet stickers, they do some of the best job in college football with that. I mean, you kind of look forward to a decorated helmet by the end. It kind of tells the story at the beginning of the season when you don't see too many of those stickers on there. So I think it's fantastic. I love the Buckeyes, and I love it as the season goes on.
So unknown texter said it's Fred Flintstone. Is he talking about the Iowa helmet? What's he talking about? It's Fred
I don't
Flintstone.
know.
We need an explanation on that. All right, unknown texter, let us know. What do you mean? Who is Fred Flintstone? What is Fred Flintstone? Is he calling you Fred Flintstone?
Maybe, I'm not sure.
All right, at number 1, the Michigan Wolverines, the winged helmet. I mean, iconic, sticks out. Everybody knows what it is. If you did a helmet ranking of every team in the country, the ones that immediately pop into my head that would be top 5. I've always liked Florida State, to be honest with you. Florida State would be up there. Michigan would be up there. Maybe Ohio State, maybe some of these others. But the first ones that pop into my head personally, Michigan, Florida State. I've actually always liked Notre Dame as well. I've always liked Nebraska as well. Those are the ones that immediately pop into my head when you think of helmets across the country that I think are the best. And I'd probably rank Michigan number 1. Again, to me, it'd be Michigan or Florida State. I've always liked Florida State. I just love the tomahawk chop, all that good stuff. But what do you think, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I think nationally, too, like a Florida helmet always kind of sticks out. But, yeah, I think Michigan is right near the top with the wing helmet design. I've often imitated, like they say. That's a form of flattery. So Michigan is I have no problem with them being number 1. They'd be number 1 here. The only reason they're sometimes not number 1 is if you dislike the football program. Yeah. But even looking past that, the design of the helmet is just cool.
Yeah, Ohio State fans would have about 18 probably in the Big Ten, I would imagine. All right, one person. Let's see. Keith Tenney, FSU is definitely in my top 5. I agree with you there, Keith. So Jake, do a little screening for me. Can I read that or not?
I think so.
Are you sure? This is your call.
You can just continue to use that. I mean, that's a appropriate, or maybe I don't know.
How about this? The Iowa helmet looks similar to a particular body part that pertains to males, and we'll leave it at that.
There you go. Yeah.
Is there anything else? If you look at the okay. Unknown texture says if you look at the Iowa helmet tilted, it looks like Fred Flintstone.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. I got you. Tilted. Do I tilt the laptop or my head here? All right. Fred, do you see it? Fred Flintstone?
No.
I don't see it, but I'm gonna roll with it, mostly because I think you're poking fun at it, and I can get on board with that. All right. Any other comments here that you think we should get to there, Jake?
I don't see anything else there.
All right, my man. If you were to rank, I just closed the tab, but we can go off memory. If you were to rank the top 5 helmets in the Big Ten based on your personal opinion, who would you have?
So I think I would go with Michigan, Ohio State, USC. As kind of the ones again stick out to me, and then from there, I do like Michigan State's, as we kind of mentioned, and I'd put Nebraska in there because Nebraska would be right in that group, so maybe 4th for Nebraska, and then if I again go outside of the Blue Bloods, I'd probably put Michigan State in there.
All right, let me see here. So I did a top 7. So again, I didn't put much thought into this. I'll start at the top, go all the way down to 7. Michigan at 1, Ohio State 2. I like that Washington helmet. I got it 3. I said I would put it ahead of Nebraska. I've got Nebraska at 4, Penn State at 5. So there's my top 5. Real quick, right off the top. I'm going to sneak another one in there as I think about it. And this would probably change if I thought about it a little bit more, but I'm going to stick with this. So 1 Michigan, 2 Ohio State, 3 Washington, 4 Nebraska, 5 Penn State. All right, 6 UCLA. I said I would put it probably right outside the Blue Bloods. I'd put it right at the top of that next list, and I got it there. Oregon, I have it 7, depending on which helmet they use. All right, but we're going to go with Chrome, as someone pointed out to me earlier. I appreciate that. And then USC. USC, that's kind of my top 8. There's probably I clicked the tab, closed the tab, so I can't go back and look through the list again. Maybe I left somebody off I would have put on there, but that's kind of where I'm at. All right. If you go beyond your top 5, who were some of the others that kind of stick out to you?
Like you said, I mean, from there, I would have to kind of put Penn State in there at some point. I do, like I said, I kind of like Michigan State's design. Once you kind of get past most of that, like UCLA, some of the teams you mentioned, Oregon, Maryland, I like. And that probably gets me close to the top 10. And from there, I think it gets somewhat basic.
Who would be at the bottom of your list? Now, you don't have to specifically say last or second to last. Towards the bottom of my list would be Northwestern.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Maryland could do something cool, but right now, when I try to think of a Maryland helmet, I struggle, to be honest with you. The one that pops into my head, I think it's kind of older school. It's the white one with Terps in cursive in red on the side of the helmet. Remember that one?
Yep.
And I don't think they've used that for a long time, so that's not good. Those would be probably the 2 that would be towards the bottom, maybe There's probably someone I mentioned earlier in the show that I'm spacing off right now. I become indifferent about Indiana. Again, if I didn't think of a cactus or now I'm going to think of a pitchfork as well, thanks to you, and a trident, as Austin pointed out earlier. Those would probably be my three towards the bottom. Maybe Indiana would be higher. Who would be yours towards the bottom of the list?
No, I agree with you. I think Rutgers, because Rutgers, for some reason, maybe it's they're just the association with the Big Ten still being somewhat new. They just don't seem to have their own branding all that well. Like if something looks regular or basic, it kind of reminds me of Rutgers in those colors. So I put Rutgers here at the last. Northwestern gets some points for trying to do something with that end, but it's ugly, so that's got to be close to the back. And then I agree with you. I mean, I think Indiana is just a little bit of confusion of what you're looking at if most people are looking at it. So those would probably be my back three.
All right, man. Do you want to go to break before we hit our next topic? Because we can do a couple of things quick, or we can come back after break.
Yeah, we can do a quick thing and go to break if that works for you.
The NBA Finals series is tied up 1-1, heading back to Indiana. I'm telling you, this is the most intrigued that I've been about an NBA Finals in a long time. And I'm not the only one. The Pacers-OKC matchup averaged, I find this hard to believe, 2.4 billion viewers on ABC.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it says.
That's a lot.
I know. That's what it says. I don't know, but it says it again here. Anyways, it says it's the most watched postseason game in 28 years. Think about that. It's the most watched postseason NBA game in nearly 3 freaking decades. Pro sports are driven by stars. Okay. Now, there are stars on each one of these teams. But when you think of the most recognizable names in the NBA, do you think of anybody on either one of those teams?
I don't think not right now, but I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to have to be. I mean, he's an MVP.
Yes.
So I think it's just kind of still, young enough, small market type of thing where it hasn't kind of quite taken over. But now, after these first 2 games, he scored the most in the first 2 games of a final anybody's ever done. So I think he's kind of taken over the league, will be that name. But as of right now, no, not necessarily.
There are stars being born and being made in this finals. The fact that you don't have a LeBron or a Steph or a KD or even a Kyrie Irving or some of these other guys, fans want intensity. They want competition. They want teams who want to beat the crap out of each other in a basketball sense and win a legit championship. Not stack teams, not just play offense, not launch threes. They want people going to the hoop. They want people who want the ball with the game on the line. They want intensity. They want competition. That's all I've said since I've whined and complained about the NBA starting a few months ago. We're finally getting it. I'm not trying to bash the NBA. I miss John Starks slam dunking in someone's face, Jordan wagging his finger in the opponent's face. I miss the dust-ups that Reggie Miller used to get into. I'm not saying there has to be fights. What I'm saying is that was competition. That was intensity. That was in your face. I want to stomp a mud hole in you and walk it dry. It's not we want to stack a team and we want this and we want that without outputting certain amounts of other things that should go along with it that don't always come along with it, which fans don't exactly like. Does what I just said very vaguely kind of make some sense?
Yes, it does.
All right. If you're going to get paid a bunch of money, go freaking earn it. Okay. Now, to me, this NBA Finals, Caitlin Clark, the WNBA, basketball may be back on the rise. And it's exciting for someone like me as someone who has missed it being, I just use the word intense. I could use any other word I want. I miss basketball being as intense as it once was. What are your thoughts there, Jake?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you've had some teams that have been injured over the last couple of years that hasn't helped to getting the best postseason. But it's been an exciting one, and a lot of it's this Pacers team. They're a fun group. Maybe benefit from not having superstars like Halliburton. Certainly has proven he is not as overrated as maybe once was thought. Pascal Siakam now looking hopefully for him to try to get a second title there. So I mean, they've got some guys, but it's just kind of they have to do it as a unit, and it's just kind of fun to watch, whether it's Neesmith or somebody having to step up. So we'll see. They do, and then they're exciting because they can fall down 20 and be right back in the game. So you got to at least kind of stick with it toward the end if you're watching the Pacers fall from behind. So it's a fun matchup. I don't know if it does better than having superstars in the finals, but it's at least a little bit different and something to look forward to, at least for maybe basketball enthusiasts, basketball folks that kind of like the game for outside of the big personalities.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to watch Game 3 the rest of this series. We had one more person chime in about the helmets. All right, outside of the Big Ten is allowed. It's okay. South Carolina helmets are pretty cool.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on South Carolina?
There's a lot going on in that logo, so I would kind of condense it to a degree, but it's unique to them. I've seen some other ones on the text line saying, Oklahoma's are iconic. I think I just kind of go back to the Notre Dames, the iconic helmets that shouldn't change because of the memories that are in them. If South Carolina someday decided, let's change this up and take a little bit out of it, I wouldn't be all that appalled.
I got one I got two for you. And then I know we got to go to break. Texas and Texas A&M. Those two. What are your thoughts?
Don't particularly like Texas, but having to understand, it is pretty cool. I mean, it's a pretty cool logo. It's hard for my distaste of the bird horn, so I mean, there's some things going through my head there. And Texas A&M's interesting because it's not a whole lot there, but again, I think just some sort of unique color combinations, or you just see something in it. It's definitely Texas A&M, right? So I think those are good. Probably Texas would be up higher because it's a little bit more of a historic program, but I like those helmets.
All right, I just like Texas so much. You got to keep in mind, I played in the Big 12, so we played against Texas and Texas teams and all these other teams. And then when I go to train for the draft, it's in Houston, and there's a bunch of former Texas players there who were not quiet about certain things. So that stuff sticks with me to the point that I've dubbed them Gag Me You. All right. That being said, I have to admit, and then I'm going to move the heck on, Texas's helmets aren't half bad. All right, Texas A&M. I've actually always liked them ever since I was a kid. I have. I've always liked them. When you got like a T and an A, and A&M, how do you make that work? It's kind of a challenging thing when you sit down and try to think about how do you make that work. I've just always liked them. I would even put Texas ahead of Texas A&M. I know everyone just tuned out. They're never going to listen to the show again. But I actually like A&M, and I don't like the burnt orange. But the helmet of Texas is – let's go to break.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot with an afternoon high near 95. Tonight, mainly clear skies and a continued breeze, low around 67. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot again with a high near 90. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Your number one dad may not need another tie or coffee mug, but he always needs a little more award-winning barbecue from Hog Wild. Give Dad a meal fit for the king of your castle this Father's Day with Hog Wild's hearty, family-pleasing menu. Our meaty ribs, tender beef brisket, pulled pork, and hot links pair perfectly with our home-style sides. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 12th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let Blur Events take care of all the work so you can enjoy the day. Plus, we're just steps away from Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination.
Be at the 32nd Annual Testicle Festival for live music and, of course, balls. It's at Round the Bend Steakhouse in Ashland, June 14th from 11 to 10. Take I-80 exit 426, roundthebendsteakhouse.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through June 24th are $1 off ground beef, 15% off on aprons, 15% off cornhead beer, and buy one, get one 50% off on brats and hot dogs, limit 2. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. People are having fun with the helmet sticker, helmet rankings, so to speak. So, is this an unknown texture or is there a name with this one, Jake?
That is an unknown texture.
They have sent us in an entire, Fred Flintstone, image, picture, kind of next to the Iowa helmet logo. Jake doesn't see it. I do kind of see it. Now, it's a very specific Fred Flintstone picture. So that does help their case. I don't know that this is the typical Fred Flintstone picture that you're going to think of all the time, but I do kind of see where they're coming from. You brought up OU, the OU helmet. Somebody else brought up the OU helmet being iconic. Here's a little bit of recency. I don't want to say bias, but recency, I don't know, comes to my memory because I've had a lot of recent success over the past decade or so, and I probably wouldn't have thought of them 15 years ago. Clemson, the Tiger Paw.
Yeah.
I actually really like that one. Plain, simple, easy to see, know exactly what it is, not overcomplicated, but tells you everything you need to know. I actually like Clemson. All right, anything else we haven't talked about? My daughters, if they were here, they would talk about the Miami Dolphins. They love Dolphins. You like the Dolphins? That's right. Jake Sorensen said the Dolphins are his team. Got the phone case.
That's basically
covering.
his entire personality.
All right, the Dolphins. They would say the Dolphins. They love Dolphins. And my youngest would say the Sparkle team. For those who don't know who that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, on the one side.
Sparkles.
To her, it looks like Sparkles. But any other helmet that we've not mentioned, college football, pro football, or in general, Jake?
Well, I was just kind of thinking back to our old Big 12 days. I always thought Kansas State's similar to kind of what I said about Michigan State. I just think that looks like a clean, good-looking Wildcat. Colorado's, I know we don't like them, but a Buffalo is pretty cool, and the color combination is pretty good. Yep. So I'd have to throw those ones out there. I mentioned earlier Florida, Miami. Kind of not quite blue blood, but right there in it. And then, I just think the color combinations work well, though you don't like, I guess, that was Illinois. That's pretty close to Florida's to a degree. And then I always like Georgia's. I know some people kind of mock it as a Green Bay looking one, but the color combinations there. And I always like the fact that they have, even though gray is not one of their colors, they wear gray bridges sometimes.
They do.
So.
That is, I hadn't thought about that. They do wear gray pants a lot. People equate that to Green Bay.
Just the Georgia, the block G, or not. Yeah.
Well, now that you say that, I never thought about that. Now that you say it, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. So if we were to go overall jersey, because we just been talking helmet, overall jersey, which is a whole nother show that we'll get to later on down the road. I actually don't hate talking about the helmet real quick. The U, okay. I like it when you can do a hand symbol and it goes along with something. So the Miami helmet on the side of their helmet, their logo on the side of the helmet. Talking about full uniforms, I've always loved Nebraska's iconic full uniforms. I've always liked that. So to me, part of what made Nebraska was the uniforms and the iconicness of it, which is why I'm not a particular fan of alternate uniforms personally. Okay, people can say, oh, that's old school, out of date. Well, if something's old school, it means it stood the test of time is another way of looking at that. Florida, I've actually, it's a different, it's orange and blue, but it's like a brighter blue. It's not as navy. I've always liked the cursive gator on the side of the helmet. I've always liked, it's weird because I tend to be drawn to certain types of uniforms. Fancy uniforms with a lot of colors is typically not my taste. For whatever reason, that's like as many colors as you're going to get in a uniform. And for whatever reason, it's the anomaly. And I've always liked it ever since I was a kid.
The Florida one.
Yeah, the whole uniform.
Yeah.
Uniform.
That's fair. I mean, I like the Florida one. They've tried to do some different things over the years, kind of switching. It's always just kind of goes back to it looks best kind of the way it did there in the 90s. I do want to ask you, do you like the all whites that Nebraska does once in a while? Because it's not the traditional look, but I think it looks clean.
I'm more traditional, to be honest with you. Yeah.
One more question, because I've always had this idea. Most people say don't touch the helmet. Okay, but what about black shirt helmet stickers, just bones for plays that you make? I always thought that'd be kind of cool if only the defense got some bones, similar helmet stickers.
Anything that makes the defense look better than the offense, I'm going to be for. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Fair enough.
You know, I'm not a big fan of alternate uniforms. Okay, if you follow me over the years, I've been consistent with that. The one thing that's an exception, and this is probably my absurd black shirt bias coming out, because I think the black shirt tradition is I don't know of another school that has anything like it. So that's like the one thing where I could almost be like a black shirt, you know, the crossbones on the side of the helmet and the black jersey and whatnot, like some sort of uniform combo is the one thing I could get behind. And I know everything I just said counters that. There's anomalies here and there. There's exceptions here and there. The exception for me uniform-wise as a whole would be Florida. The anomaly when it comes to the alternate or exception when it comes to the alternate uniforms for Nebraska, it's like, no. Black shirts, uniform, and helmet, I could get behind that. It's probably the whole entire black shirt bias, if I'm being honest. But what do you think of that?
Well, that's fair enough. I mean, I'm kind of in the same path, and I know a lot of people don't necessarily think about that. If you're like born in Nebraska or whatever, you kind of just, okay, black shirts, yeah, that's part of it. But how many schools, you know, you can think of the Wrecking Crew, but there's very few schools that have such a history to their defense that it's almost got its own department, right?
Yes,
when you think about the history of it. And I love that about Nebraska. And if I was a defensive recruit, I always thought that would stand out to me a little bit more of like, man, they're really in the defense here.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, Aaron Rodgers, as we know, Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Aaron Rodgers can become one of 5 quarterbacks to beat all 32 teams with the win over the Packers in Week 8. The others are Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees. Real quick thoughts. Aaron Rodgers, Steelers. He's going to go play his former teams this year, the Jets, the Packers. There was one other one, the Vikings, which he kind of has a history with to begin with. So to me, there's going to be a lot of intrigue this year around Aaron Rodgers. What are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers? Does he make the Steelers a Super Bowl contender? And how much more interesting does he make the Steelers season as a whole now?
Oh, a lot. I mean, if they would have started with Mason Rudolph compared to Aaron Rodgers, it's a night and day difference. Yep. Which, I mean, I'd still think with Mike Tomlin, you might finish 500 or slightly above, but this kind of gives them more of an opportunity to move up. Of course, they traded Pickens away, brought in Metcalf, so they're kind of going for a different look altogether. Najee Harris out of town, but so it's a bit of a different look for the Steelers team. But I'm really intrigued, and I'm also he's still kind of in that stopgap quarterback range because of his age and the 1-year contract or whatever. It's fascinating to me that Steelers, such a historic franchise that had such continuity for the longest time with Big Ben in there, are struggling to find their next guy. But I mean, this intrigues me because people are so down on Aaron Rodgers, like, yeah, he should retire, throw him away, all this. He still threw for 28 and 11 last year, and he's a 4-time MVP. I get it, maybe not at the top of his game, but especially with a veteran coach, an organization, I'm very intrigued.
You make a great point about Big Ben. I've always felt like Roethlisberger was underrated. 2-time Super Bowl champ, consistent for 15 years. I'll tell you right now, preparing for a big guy like that with a strong arm that could move and run around and make plays with his legs and wasn't easy to tackle was a gigantic pain in the keister. And I had several defensive coordinators. They would freak out when we play certain quarterbacks. There was Peyton Manning, there was Michael Vick for a different reason, and Ben was kind of in the middle there. Those were the 3 quarterbacks we'd play. I'd have D coordinators just freaking out when we're doing install on Wednesday practices. So I always felt like he was a little bit underappreciated. I mean, he has the motorcycle wreck early on. There's some other off the field things, and I felt like people never viewed him the same after that. I mean, people are people, give them a chance. If they've been contrite, they're learning to get better afterwards. I've always felt like give them a chance. You know what I mean? But I think Steelers fans maybe look back on Ben a little bit fonder now, so to speak. Man, people. So to be clear, the helmet thing was supposed to be like a 20-minute conversation. People are just having fun with this, though. So the unknown texter says it takes some imagination and maybe some certain things in your system, but I'm seeing it when he's talking about Fred Flintstone in the Iowa
That's right.
helmet. Okay. Let's see. Scott in Minnesota says, has Alabama ever worn alternates? I don't think so. I don't think I've ever seen them. Yeah, I don't think so. They stick with the numbers 47 different places on their jerseys and helmet for some reason. All right. Denver Broncos in the 80s and 90s, light blue. I can't see the rest of the comment, but I think they like the 80s and 90s Broncos jerseys. And honestly,
yeah,
so did I.
Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely.
do I. What about LSU?
I think LSU is one of the best. No, that's my top destination. I want to go see a ball game at night. Yeah. But no, I love, and they do so much with just yellow and purple and white. That's not my favorite combination, but they just make it look so clean. Again, the helmet, at least you got the eye of the tiger in the middle of the field, the helmet, you got the tiger on there. I love LSU. They would be one of my top nationally.
Yeah, people are having fun with this helmet rankings. Kansas State away uniforms are certainly one of the best, so they agree with you. There's more coming in. All right. Any final thoughts? And you can keep sending them in. I mean, hey, people want to keep talking about it. We'll keep talking. You got any final thoughts? And then let's talk about what kind of impact Dana Holgorsen can have on Emmett Johnson and Nebraska's entire offense in 2025. You got any final thoughts on the helmet and or uniform conversation?
Not necessarily. I'm still kind of trying to go through some different ones that I could pick out. But if you do, it is interesting if you go back how things kind of they kind of go in waves to a degree, because that's what people think. They go back to those light blue, powder blue Chargers uniforms. Those are some of people's favorites. The Denver Broncos ones that they went away from. They felt outdated at the time, and then just give it a few years, and it's like, man, those were fantastic.
All right, let's do this. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to chat about what kind of impact could Dana Holgorsen have on Emmett Johnson and Nebraska's entire offense in 2025. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast, and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Breathe easier inside your home with Bryant. Eliminate allergens and odors and control humidity too. For a breath of fresh air, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Attention! Acres is cutting interest rates and offering great deals below market value, the largest selection of used inventory in the nation. For a limited time, Acres is offering interest rates as low as 2.9% on our late model John Deere ag equipment. Acres low interest rates, along with our below market prices on select John Deere used planters, tractors, sprayers, and combines, makes it a great time to upgrade your equipment for the 2025 season. Visit acres.com for details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends June 30th, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
With UBT,
you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final segment of the Wednesday edition. Is this the first ever Wednesday edition? I think it is. Of the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Again, we've had a blast. And we have been and are still live for the next few minutes here at Schwisow Construction, 3700 South 6th Street, to celebrate their open house as they unveil their newly expanded, renovated office headquarters. They started things off today with a blue ribbon cutting around 10 a.m. And now you are invited to come down. There's only a few minutes left. If you're in the area, you can hop in real quick, enjoy food, drink, and see the expansion as Schwisow Construction celebrates 40 years in business. All right, the open house goes until 1 p.m. All right, Jake. What type of impact can Dana Holgerson and Emmett Johnson have on the offense this season? Now, we've seen some breakdowns of the last 4 games when Holgerson was the OC versus the rest of the season versus certain things. And I thought you had a good take, because when you look at certain numbers are exponentially better. When you look at certain numbers, they're not exponentially different. Like when you look at those 4 games, Nebraska averaged 23.5 points per game. When you look over the whole course of the season, Nebraska averaged 23.5 points per game, but you had a great point. There's a difference between good and better. Talk about that for us, will you?
Yeah, and I think it was a limited opportunity, obviously, for Dana Holgerson to come in. It was going to be tough. It's something just I'd never seen in college football before. You bring in a former head coach who was on staff somewhere else, albeit as just an analyst, to be your offensive coordinator. So it's hard to compare to anything else, but it did seem like the offense got better, and particularly the usage of Emmett Johnson got better. And I think that's where you can kind of circle that and get a little bit more excited about what we're going to see moving forward. Outside of the fact, I think most of the excitement is that Dana Holgerson will have obviously a full season. Remember when his first week, he didn't know names. He was just pointing about numbers. So he did not know a whole lot of kind of personnel and the details beyond it. Whereas now he's going to have all that at his disposal. So I think that you can look at those games and maybe kind of say that's kind of a trial run for Dana Holgerson. It was enough that obviously they liked it, that they wanted to keep it going. But I expect the offense to look even better than it did in the last couple of games, and I'm sure most of Husker Nation does as well. And I think that Holgerson is the primary reason that there is belief outside of here at the state of Nebraska. People nationally look at Nebraska and say, well, that should be a reason for their offense to get an uptick this year.
So when you look at Holgerson's games where he was the OC, and you make a great point, he learned their lingo because it was easy for him to learn their language than everybody else to learn his, especially in that short amount of time. And then he told me he's done that same thing this offseason. He's gone and learned all their lingo as he implements his offense, which I thought was interesting. With an entire offseason, I figured he'd make them learn the lingo that he wants to use, but he learned it, what they were using, and then equated it to his offense. Now, they moved the ball successfully in a lot of these games. Moved the ball versus Iowa, moved the ball versus Boston College, moved the ball versus USC, obviously moved the ball versus Wisconsin. The difference was there wasn't the turnovers, there wasn't the special team struggles against Wisconsin, and they were able to finish off drives against Wisconsin, which was not the same thing they were able to do even in the bowl win versus Boston College. Obviously, Iowa, we moved the ball up and down the field, yet they somehow still scored more points. I don't want to get into that again, but we got to be able to take care of the ball. We got to be able to finish in the red zone, okay? And you look at a guy like Emmett Johnson. This is a guy under Holgerson, his last 4 games, averaged 20.5 touches per game. And he was on pace. Had that been for a whole season, he would have had 1,400 yards of total offense throughout the entire season, what he did those 4 games throughout the rest of the season. In fact, he had 39 receptions on the season. 23 of them were after Dana Holgerson took over. The question is, can Emmett sustain that? All right, will the offensive line open holes for him consistently? Obviously, that's a question mark that's been there for a while. It's there for every team. That's a key part of having a successful running game. But can Emmett sustain that? Because you look behind him, I know the coaches like Quentin Ives, and I know they got some talented young running backs, but nobody that's proven in a game behind Emmett. Can he sustain it? And God forbid if he gets banged up, what are your thoughts on what would be up next in that running back room?
Well, I think that's one of the fears going into this year is if Emmett can't stay healthy. It's kind of crazy because remember, he did flirt with going into the portal. It was before the portal officially opened, so I don't think he ever officially got in. But when that happened, I think it was so surprising because it's like, well, Holgerson seemed to embrace him and to use him, and it seemed like the future there. So that pairing makes you kind of excited. And if something were to happen beyond that, then it's just kind of who knows. Again, the staff likes what they have there, but there's nothing proven. They didn't go out and try to get anybody as outside of Shamar Brown, who was open there for a second. So unless like a pretty ideal situation opened up, it didn't seem like they were interested in going and adding pieces. That lets you know that they're confident in these guys behind Emmett Johnson, and we'll see. Do I, as a Husker fan, have a whole lot of faith? No, because I haven't seen a whole lot of it on the field. So they're in the roster. That's going to be a concern. If they believe they have what they have in the stable is good enough, then they get paid a lot of money. There's a lot on the line this year. I have to believe and trust in them. So hopefully it wouldn't be too big of a downturn, but it is. I mean, that's got to be one of the biggest injury concerns on the season for Nebraska fans.
Yeah, I think questions going into the season. Every team has them. This isn't unique to Nebraska. Depth in the running back room. Okay, who's going to step up on the defensive line? The offensive line's overall consistency. The potential for the offensive line is there. Emmett's a good running back. How's that going to work if he gets banged up? He needs a lengthy break, whatever the case may be. And there's honestly a lot of talented guys on the D-line. Again, we need to see it in an actual game. And as we close out the show today, all right, in the final 4 games, Emmett Johnson carried the ball 59 times for 314 yards. He had 23 catches for 170 yards. Now, Again, that was 20.5 touches per game. He averaged 120 yards, 121 total yards per game, which would be 1,400 yards over the course of the season. Can he stay healthy? Can he sustain that? I have no doubt in what Emmett can do. But that ball's funny. Crazy things happen. That's what makes football exciting. So what goes beyond that? I do believe Dana Holgerson's going to have a big impact. I do think Emmett Johnson's going to have a really good season. Some of these other question marks, we'll see how things unfold. You got any final thoughts?
Just the other one thing, too, that I would think about that is, can those running backs, even if they fill in, maybe they can be good, but could they be the big play threat that Emmett Johnson became? Now, he doesn't have burning speed, but when you think about, there's a lot to like about this offense. When you think about big plays, I don't even know who the next big play threat would be for Nebraska. So that would be the part of the major concern, too, if Emmett Johnson did go down, even for a game going into that sort of game. They need to establish somebody else that could be that big play threat.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to be excited about heading into Nebraska football season. There's a lot of question marks that we're going to get answers to once they kick that ball off August 28th. Arrowhead, Cincinnati, Thursday night, ESPN. All right, it's been real. It's been a great day, live on location here at Schwisow Construction. Until tomorrow, I'll be back Thursday and Friday along with my good buddy Jake. Go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the bombs.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy.